Hello, welcome to Cerulean Arts Gallery. Tonight we're speaking with Susan Leshnoff in conjunction with her Cerulean Arts Collective Exhibition, which is on view now through June the 30th. Hello, Susan.
Hi, nice to
Uh,
see you.
nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So please tell us about your current show.
Okay, the painting that was chosen to represent my show says a lot about where my head is. My head is in landscape. My head is in the sky, the land, the sea, the water. And that particular painting, which is a storm coming on, is what you saw on the invitation, the announcement of my show. What is on the screen right now portrays a lot about me as an artist. That is watercolor, and it is a random area of landscape. I don't like planned landscapes. I don't like places where that are formal gardens. Rather, I pay attention to all of those areas on the road as you're walking that people would not necessarily pay too much attention to. And that for me means everything. So as you're looking at some of these watercolors, you can see that I do mixed media. A lot depends upon the actual paper which I choose. If it's 100% cotton, watercolor paper, the effect is different. If the paper is 25% cotton and the rest like a polymer, the way that the paint is applied to the painting is a lot different, and the effect is different as well. My show has a lot of watercolors. I love watercolor. I also love to do acrylic paintings. People ask me, can you do both at the same time? The answer is no. If my head is doing watercolor, I have to focus on watercolors. If my head is working on big paintings on using acrylic on canvas, then that's where my head is, and I can't go back and forth very easily. If you look at my paintings, you'll see that there's a strong linear component. Some might call it calligraphy, some might call it just working with line. But to me, that's very important because it gets to the essence of what I like. My paintings are multimedia. I use watercolor from tubes with a paintbrush. I use watercolor markers from a Winsor Newton. Sometimes I use a calligraphic pen. And the calligraphic pen is a one that doesn't allow mistakes and doesn't allow any type of erasures. The painting that you're looking at right now actually has masking fluid. And the masking fluid, again, is another device that's being used to create a certain effect. The way my paintings work really is my engagement with the light and how light affects nature. I'm very taken with atmosphere. I'm very taken with times of day. And I'm very taken with the idea that there's so much movement in landscape, especially in trees, that to create that scintillating effect, to try to engage the viewer in looking at my artwork as something that's in constant motion is really what I am trying to achieve. The reason why I don't work totally realistically is because I want the viewer to move into my painting and move away from their life here and now, the way that they're thinking now. Some people might call it transcendence. Some people might call it going into another dimension. Some people might call it going into a spiritual perspective. But what I am trying to do is to create a way of moving yourself out of your physical situation to another worldly place. In the painting that you're looking at right now, it has a lot to do. Both of those paintings on the wall have a lot to do with leaves and the movement of leaves and the way that light affects the leaves. And it's something that you really have to go into an abstract type of mode or a brushy type of mode, because if you get very, very specific, the movement stops. And what I'm trying to achieve is that feeling of movement. Here in this particular painting, it's fall, and the leaves are falling, and you're looking at the grove of trees and seeing a sense of space, and also you also finding out that you're looking at trees that are losing their leaves, that it is specifically a season and something. If it's summer and you're looking at that particular painting, it helps to make you remember how wonderful fall is. So as the camera is moving, I see that we're looking at now one of the three square paintings that are 3 feet by 3 feet of a marsh. These paintings are derived from the John Hines wetlands, which is really very close to the Philadelphia airport. And here you see that there is, I call this one a dreamscape, because it's more abstract than the other ones. And what it's intend to do is, as you're looking at it, and a lot of my paintings, it's almost as if you start at the bottom and you go up to the top. Here you're looking at the bottom, and you can see that the rush of water, the ripples of water, and as you move upward, you will see that there are some areas of green, there's some areas of blue. The blues are changing constantly as you get to the horizon. And then as you get to the horizon, there's this feeling of space and the feeling of the atmosphere. And some people might actually feel that it is a road to heaven. That particular one is more abstract than the other ones. And I don't know if you're going to be rotating over to show those. Okay, we've got some more watercolors here. And these are particular watercolors that are done with a calligraphic pen, with a watercolor marker. The paper sometimes is damp and sometimes is dry, as I try to create a sense of bushes, a sense of space, a sense of water, and a sense of background. And the painting below is a little bit more minimal. And what it intends to do is to have people arrive at a sense of peace as they gaze at this particular painting, so that if they're in their living room, or if they're in their bedroom, or someplace in their home, they can look up at my painting and feel relieved, to feel that there is a place that can create peace. And that's one of the objectives of the way that I intend to work, to portray, to help people find through artwork a sense of peace. Now, the paintings that you're looking at now are very interesting. The two large paintings, one on the left and one on the right, also are based upon the wetlands, the John Hines wetlands near the Philadelphia airport. And they're abstracted, but if you look closely at them, you'll see that the color of water changes as you get to the horizon. All the colors change. And that there's a zigzag pattern which takes you from the bottom left across, across, across in a zigzag pattern until you get to the distance. And that it seems to be something very important to me, because it happens so often in my paintings. And that zigzag pattern, I believe, is my way of getting the viewer to arrive at the sky, which also is where many people feel that heaven is portrayed. The paintings that are next are bushes, and they're pathways. If you're a hiker, you might look at this and say, oh, there's a nice place to hike, and I wonder where it's going. And there's a feeling of thickness. There's a feeling of getting lost in the path. and wondering where it's going to end. That particular painting and the one that's below also can be seen as mystical travels, because these can be hills, they can be paths, upward paths that are reaching towards something which we don't see yet in the painting, something that's being strived for. And maybe what is being strived for is a place of solace, a place to meditate, a place perhaps to pray. And that's really the basis of those particular paintings, that this feeling of a pathway that doesn't include a destination is the purpose of the painting, because every person is going to be on his own path, on his own journey. And that's what I intend to do. The next painting, which you're looking at, is also the John Hines wetlands. And here it's very clear that the zigzag path where the color of blue as it goes upward becomes intensified and much more beautiful, and the water becomes clearer. And as you're getting up to the top, again, it's a way of reaching the sky, or for some people, reaching the heaven. So those are a lot of the ideas that I work with. I should mention that on many of the paintings, these wetland paintings, there is also there's a linear pathway, because that sense of line that I use in watercolor is also being transferred to the acrylic paintings as well. And that seems to be something that's very important to me. It's a way of minimizing the overall effect, in a way, minimizing in a way, clarifying in a way, and creating a focus. So those are the paintings so far that you're looking at. There's also another wall, and on that wall is the biggest painting in the show, and that's 30 inches by 4 feet, and it's the Southwest. And again, I have taken my liberties with that particular portrayal to, again, work with the sense of line that helps to enhance the feeling of light, and helps to enhance the feeling of a spiritual destination that glows. And it's very clear when you look at the painting that the light is coming from above and is highlighting the land. And there's quite a bit of abstraction in the painting, which is intended. The bushes are very often brushstrokes, and sometimes there's minimal brushstrokes, but it becomes obvious that as you move into the distance, you can see less and less. Again, there's some waterway, and just a little bit. And I felt that when I was working on this painting and realized that I had to include these lines that you see that outline a lot of the cragginess of the mountains, of the hills, that this was part of my signature, and something which I intend to continue as I work with landscape. So do you have anything that you want me to add to this?
Susan, when you're creating your paintings, are you working from memory or photographs, or do you work any on
That's a
location, or how do you do it?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. This one that you're looking at now is based upon the New Jersey shore, and looking at a house in the distance. By the way, that's a little bit different than many of the others. All of my paintings, all of them, start with photographs, and I use a photograph, and then I go off, and then I have to consider the relationship of the principles, the elements and principles of design, the composition, to make sure that there's good balance, that there is a sense of completion, and therefore the painting has to take on a type of realm that has to do with artistic needs. we're working on a flat canvas, and the photograph is of something that is physical and three-dimensional. Once I start working on the canvas or the watercolor, what takes over is my sense of design and order. And so that becomes very important. Some people ask, well, how do you manage? What do you do first? And I think it just changes, but very often I'll start out with watercolor. I'll work with watercolor markers, and then I'll work with a calligraphy pen sometimes. The calligraphy pen allows me to have different thicknesses of lines. And do they take a long time? Yes. I work in stages. I'll wait till an area dries or wait for another day and then evaluate what I've done and add more color. But always in my mind is composition and the sense of space and making sure that the painting works artistically. There's a flower there. I had a couple of flower drawings or watercolors, and this how do I do them? It's based upon a bouquet, and it depends. Usually, I work with watercolor markers first. Then I'll continue with perhaps calligraphy pen or more markers, then watercolor, and then I go back with markers again. So it's in 3 or 4 stages.
Well, thanks very much, Susan. It's a wonderful show.
Thank you very much. I love to work with all of you people at Cerulean Gallery. It's a wonderful place to be.
Thank you. I do have one more question for you.
Sure.
Next Sunday, June the 23rd, you'll be offering the workshop, Unlock Your Landscape, a creativity workshop. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah. I love, I've taught quite a number of years. I just love to teach. I'll be bringing in photographs. You can bring in your own photographs. And what I'm going to be helping students do is to learn how to focus on what's really important, take risks, and experiment with a variety of media. And I guarantee that everyone who takes the workshop will go home with at least one painting and will
That's great.
feel a new sense of freedom in working.
So can it be for a beginner, someone new to art, or someone
Yes,
with some experience?
absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody, I think each artist has his or her own way of expression and can add to the seasoned artist or the new student to be artist to add to their portfolio of thinking and doing.
And if people would like to sign up, they can go to the Cerulean Arts website, ceruleanarts.com, and to the studio page and find Susan's workshop there.
Yes.
And the show is up, and the workshop will actually include a tour of your exhibition since it
Yeah.
will happen at the same time.
Yeah.
The show itself, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's a 4-hour workshop, and
Yeah.
we'll be having plenty of time to work out lots of different ideas. And I have in my head various approaches to help you experiment and help you focus. And I just know you're going to feel very happy with the experimentation and the results.
Sounds good. And the show itself is up through June 30th. We hope people come down to see it.
Yes.
And the artwork is also available on our website at ceruleanarts.com. So thanks again for being here tonight, Susan.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Well, you're very welcome. Take care and have a good night.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.